Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Here we are, another day, another practice session. So for the Chickawitz flow studies, as always, I try to have a great first attack. I try to have the best sound I possibly can follow that first attack, and then I'm trying to connect the notes as much as I can, try to make it as smooth as I can while keeping that great sound on each individual note as I progress through the exercise. On each of these notes, I also do a poo attack to start with to try to encourage getting my air forward and getting that response as soon as I possibly can. All right. I do the Chickowitz flow studies at the beginning of every practice session because I like the consistency of coming to the same thing at the beginning of the day. I know how they should feel. I know how they, when you do it the same way day after day, you get a sense of this is what it should feel like. And so I just use it as a way to sort of get a sense of where I'm at, how things are feeling. Do I need to direct my attention anywhere specific already? From here, we move on to long tones. And so we'll look at the app to see what we have here. We needed to complete yesterday. All right, day 2. So the drum or the metronome is at 99 beats per minute, and we're gonna do the drone work on this. So 99. Grab the old headphones. Turn this down. Turn this pretty far up. Turn this down, and so we'll be at 99, and we'll start at a G in the staff. Oh. And here we go. One of the things I like about doing long tones with a drone like this is I've noticed when I'm doing it with a tuner, it's got to be so precise. It'll tell you instantaneously if you're, 0.1 cents sharp or flat. And so sometimes it can feel like my intonation is not great and or that I got so much work to do on it. But when I play with a drone, it just feels a little bit easier to settle into where the note is supposed to go. And this is very valuable for ensemble work, right? The ability to hear where the general pitch of the group is and then say, I'm going to, put my note here, or, maybe just the trumpet section you're in if you're playing third trumpet or something. Being able to hear this is what they're doing, this is where my note goes. I'm not saying that there's more wiggle room with a drone, but it just feels like I can find the center easier, and I don't. I don't know. It's a little. I don't. Yeah, I guess maybe it's just a little less forgiving than the tuner is. So we work our way back up. Okay, that's our long tones. So it may seem like I'm just going right through the quote motions while doing that, but believe you me, when I'm doing those long tones, I'm really, really focused on a particular feeling I'm trying to imprint as I release sound. It's just a little bit different on this horn than my other horn, and I'm getting used to it, and I feel pretty confident. And then from there, it's just immediately trying to settle in the pitch as soon as I possibly can. So there's just a ton of listening and a ton of processing going on, even though it looks like I'm just playing the note, changing it, playing the note, changing it. Yeah, there's a lot of process going. Hey, Jay Trumpet. To be honest, this is something I haven't really incorporated drones as much as I would have liked to have in my, I guess, my trumpet career, if you want to call it that. And so I'm just sort of winging it a little bit. I understand the concept of why you would use a drone. You got to get it loud enough that you can kind of hear your sound against the drone, and then you're just trying to play in tune with it, except the drone itself is not going to move. So it's really helpful to learn tendencies and to also learn what it sounds like when you're playing in tune. in some ways, I feel like I just made a logical guess about how to do it, and then just went with that way. So it's cool. I'm glad that you feel like it's a valuable thing, or at least you're finding it interesting to see how I'm doing it. Okay, first attacks. These timing drills. F sharp all the way up through C. If anybody has any questions, you all saw as you clicked on it, says AMA, but do not be shy. Any questions are fair game. Part of the reason I'm here, in addition to just sharing my process, part of the reason I'm here is to be available to answer questions. I'm finding that this is a better platform to do it on rather than like an Instagram thing where I have a limited amount of space or a limited amount of time to answer it. In this kind of context, I can really go through the full picture. So feel free to ask any questions. Hey, Lemar, how you doing? Yeah, it's obviously, I'm a big fan of taking time off when it's time to take a time off. So makes perfect sense to me. I was practicing this just now, and I wanted to sort of share. I basically haven't missed a note yet, right? And so that thought started creeping in my mind, like, oh wow, like you haven't missed a note yet. You know, like I'm sure we've all had this thought creep in our mind. We're doing really well, and then we start thinking about the fact that we're doing really well. And this is one of the reasons I really believe in having cues or certain things that get us back on track. For me, it's sort of the way I'm releasing and then really focusing on the sound that I want to sustain. Those two things are really helpful for me because it sort of gives me a thing to think about in opposition to or introducing a new thought. So instead of just focusing on, oh, I sound really good right now, I hope I don't mess it up, I can hear that thought in my head and then immediately say, don't worry about that, just air forward, sustain the great sound that you want to hear in your head. And it really helps combat some of these unhelpful thoughts that pop into our head from time to time. Well, I missed one, so there we go. Don't gotta worry about it now. True that. Well, that's that. So I think two, not that I'm super counting, but I think two missed notes. So, you know, just trying to figure out where to aim. Both the B flat that I missed and the C that I missed, I just didn't aim high enough. So next time I do it on the C trumpet, just got to make sure to aim high enough. All right, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to drag it over to this screen right. What? I'm going to drag it over to this screen right here, and I'm going to input the stuff from today's Gold Method app program, and then I will we'll get started. So violin, page 21, number 19 at 64. Violin, page 32, number 32 at 84. Clark, Clark, is it with an E? 4 evens at 70. Clark, Clark 5 evens at 115. Saxa 55 at 103. Saxa 73 at 70. Arbin, page 175. Number 80 at 144, and Arbin, page 177, number 88 at 112. Okay, now I don't have to type any of that stuff in anymore. So put this back over here. All right, hit record. So page 21, number 19. Okay. $64. So for flexibility exercises, what I try to do is make sure that I have two things that are happening. Number one, that my air is forward and consistent. And number two, that I'm playing from the center of one pitch to the center of another, so that all the sounds are basically the same. So if I were doing it and some of my low notes were a little bit sharp or a little bit kind of not in the center, a little bit on the high side, or some of my upper register notes were kind of pinched or something, I would not be succeeding in the goal of the exercise. So that's my goal for these flexibility exercises in the violin book. So I'm going to listen to that, because that, if I'm not wrong, is the first time that I've played that as well as I want to. Let's listen. Okay, and then I'm going to pull this slider up here on desktop audio. So those low notes are a little bit greasy. So let's go back. So this is what? So let's go back here and listen to this. Not that one. So this is going to be a B flat trumpet, but yeah, so still pretty good. It wasn't bad. Like, this is my starting place, right? It's still pretty good, but this was better. So just 1 week later, it was already better, and we're only 4 beats per minute faster. So that's part of my philosophy too. Instead of just going, I'm going to play this at 60 today, and then I'm going to play it at 64 today, and then 68 today. I cycle through these tempo ranges so the progression slows down considerably, and I just have a lot more opportunity to just explore the exercise without feeling like I have to play it perfectly or prove anything to myself that I can do it or something like that. All right, so then down here on page 32. All right. Well, that was not quite as good, but that's the one that's really challenging for me. So, I know what elements are needed, and I'm not going too fast, obviously. It's not like I technically can't do it. It's just what I think is happening is I just need time for my chops to figure out how to do it. You know what I mean? Like wherever the pattern is, or grooving that motor pattern. I just need to give myself some time. Okay. So evens now. Nope. This one. How do you overcome strain? Yes and no. Like, obviously spending more time in the upper register will help your upper register, but overcoming strain, you have to figure out how to do it without strain first, right? I would liken it to deadlifting. That's one of my favorite analogies, but just so I can see it better. When you're deadlifting, like, it's going to be a balance between the two. When you're deadlifting, you want your form to be as good as possible. And so what you're asking is sort of like when it becomes more difficult in the deadlift, you know, and your form starts to break down, what do you do? Well, the thing to do would be to lower the weight and first of all figure out, when you observe your video or anything like that, where is your form breaking down? And then you want to lighten the weight by quite a bit. And you want to get multiple reps and multiple sets where you are successfully completing that lift and addressing that weakness, and then sort of build it back up again, right? So it's almost this, like, I don't know, the camera's over here. So it's like this, I'm going up, but then I hit this plateau, so then I'm going to come back down just a little bit. I'm going to sort of reset right here. I'm going to think, well, how do I address this issue? And then that should allow me to go further than I was before. So in this context, and this is kind of what I was talking about and what I was trying to share about in my video about upper register on my YouTube channel, is like that exercise is designed for you to spend more time in the upper register so that you can develop familiarity and comfort. But we want to start a little bit lower than, you know, whatever our maximum note is. See, if your highest note is C that you can play, you want to start somewhere around F sharp, and G, where you can develop a relationship with what would this look like if it were successful. And then you're trying to say, well, I want to hold that level of non-strain as I progress further and further up. And then just going slowly enough that your chops can figure out what's going on rather than trying to hammer it. So I never really recommend more than like 10 minutes of upper register, like focused upper register playing. Of course, you can see I'm getting into the upper register, but it's not really focused on that. Same thing with piccolo trumpet, you know, 5 to 10 minutes of that, but on a regular basis will go a long way. So, and then it's going to, like I said, it's going to be a balance. So you're going to figure out some things, and it's going to take you kind of far, and it's going to take you all the way until your plateau. And when you hit that plateau, you'll realize, oh, I actually didn't know this thing. Or you go play for a teacher because you're struggling to figure out what it is. And that teacher says, oh, well, when you do it this way, this is why you're hitting that plateau. Here's the solution. And then you back up again, you implement that solution, and then you start working your way back up. So it's this constant process, and we want to get as many good habits as possible in the beginning, but it's unlikely that we're going to get every single one of them. So the answer is yes and no. I hope that kind of helps answer your question. If not, continue asking so I can get a better understanding of what you're asking. Like on that one, oh, sorry, I took away the music. Like on that one here, the way I'm playing this is ideally the way I want this to go, right? Like I want those to feel as close to the same. Now they won't feel exactly the same, but in terms of the flow, in terms of the airflow, I want them to feel pretty similar. And then it's just, your corners support a little bit more, and maybe there's a little bit more engagement in your diaphragm to help support that. Huh. Oh. All right, I gotta find where I answered this question. All right, 115. Going off of that, would you recommend for Charlie 6 transmitting down to comfortable key, not playing it, moving to easier etude, or working on specific spots carefully? To answer that question, I have to know what you're struggling with. So if you can share with me what the struggle is, I will happily answer. But it just depends on what you're struggling with. And then thoughts on Steadicor. I mean, I play out of that book I haven't been playing out of it the last few months because I adjusted my routine to try something else. But like in general, I love the Steadicor low etude book. I've been playing out of it for years. The way I usually approach working out of that book is I will play the very first page, which is these drills that are like this. Or, stuff like that, right? And those drills are exactly that. They're just drills. So they're not musical in nature. I mean, we want to try to play them with some sort of forward line, but yeah, it's not musical in nature, so it's really a great opportunity to kind of figure out how do I bring things forward, how do I have to set up, how do I have to breathe, and then I'll usually use 1 or 2 or maybe 3, depending on how long or which ones I choose, of the actual etudes to continue testing and checking out my low range in a musical context. So even if the low register drills, don't go well, I can still play it in a musical context and say, okay, well, these low register drills are challenging for me in a way music is not usually challenging, especially with the low F and stuff like that. So when I play it in a musical context, usually it's fine. So for those low register drills specifically, and for depending on the context, I'll throw my third valve slide and then finger anything that uses a third valve up a half step. And in the spots that go above an A above the step, I start to have a thin sound. So essentially, you're just going to have to... I mean, again, this is very difficult to answer because I don't know you and I don't know your playing, but what it sounds like to me is that you just need to learn how to have familiarity of how to create and support a sound like that in the upper register. So, I mean, you could work on Charlie A6. You could work on Charlie A6. You could transpose it down a step or whatever, to make it slightly easier. But if you could stand to not play it for like a month and then do some of the upper register stuff that was either in that YouTube video or something of your choice to put a priority in saying, I'm going to spend 1 month and I'm just going to make it super basic and I'm going to focus on regrooving a path for my upper register to be a little bit more free-flowing and full, and then seeing at the end of that month kind of going back to Charlie A6 and seeing is there a difference? Because with upper register, things like upper register and single tongue speed and endurance, they're actually a physical process. So a lot of times they actually just take time to develop. Things like articulation or intonation, sometimes we can get better at it kind of quickly because all it is just maybe hearing something differently, and then we can make a quick improvement. With things like upper register, there's a certain past a certain point, we can't just make a new improvement because someone told us the secret. You know, it's harder than that. So that's my take on it. All right, here we go. All right. I'm going to try E flat, but usually it doesn't. It stops working. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know if it's the horn, but it's like it's just, there's no slot for that note at all. All right, there is a win in here, though. I did kind of botch C sharp, but there is a win in here. And I'm going to show you. It's right here. Okay. Look at that win. This recording that I just showed you was 1 week ago. So what's interesting to me about it is that all I had in between was one day where the tempo was slower than that and another day where it was even slower than that. I still played it one time. So basically, on this day I played it one time. On this day I played it one time. On this day I played it one time. And then we're back. So that's my fourth time through this in 1 week. And it was better. Now, I don't think it's like confirmation bias. I think it's that there was no way I was going to make it significantly better 1 week ago. So I knew that all I could really do was slow it down and try to work through it. And I knew that the way the app was designed, that it would slow it down for me. And so I just let the app do its thing, and I really just tried to put in the very best work that I could. This is what I think when people say trust the process, this is what it means to me, is I'm actually trusting the process. I'm not freaking out. I'm not practicing from an emotional place of like, oh no, I'm not good enough. Look at me. I have this job, but I can't play the 5th Clark study. Like, I'm just like, well, that didn't go that well. I'm going to keep working at it, and I'm going to let the process work. All right, so socks of 55. This also did not go incredibly last week, so let's see how it goes now. That was so much better. This is why I love the app. I had a little brain fart there at the end, but everything else was awesome except for that one measure where it goes down to a low E, and I still haven't figured it out. The goal tempo is on week 4. Right. So you'll type in the goal tempo, and then that will be you'll reach that in week 4. So week 3 is a little bit slower, week 2 is a little bit slower, and week 1 is a little bit slower. So the app will basically force you to start slow, and then it builds in the progression of getting you up to the tempo in 4 weeks. You're only seeing 1 week's view. I mean, we could design it. If you think that you would want to see all of it, that's totally fine, but a lot of the feedback I got from people was it's overwhelming to see the whole entire program, and being able to see, okay, this is my week's work, and then even actually all you can do is just click that day. And so it's like you can't get ahead of yourself too much. It's just, this is what I have to do today. So that's why we designed it that way. Yeah. So you just heard that one. Let's go back and listen to this one. Yeah, so that's better than I remembered it. But if we listen to this one. Yeah, it's just got more spring to it. Steps a little bit faster. I've been getting good results from playing everything from slow to start. Yeah, I'm in agreement. I don't think every single thing we do needs to be start really slowly, but in the terms of fundamentals, I don't even care anymore. I just play stuff slow because I feel like I sound better. And yeah. So if you look in the app here, the Saxa is in my articulation category. So the reason it's in my routine is for me to have an opportunity for me to challenge my single tonguing accuracy, and like just kind of the coordination. Like, can I play in the center of the pitch and have a nice ping at the beginning of every note? And I'm just sort of picking arbitrary etudes or exercises that really challenge that. Some of them I do transpose just because I've been playing these Saxa etudes for a long time, and some of them I'll play in F because that's just how Barbara assigned it, and that's what I'm used to. So. What's the tempo for this one? 70? Okay. 2 times through this. I think that was a pretty good run of that. I got to figure out that low F part still. Is my goal tempo for this month on some of these reaching your current max speed? Probably not. The multiple tonguing will, I'm pretty sure, because I've done these exercises before. So I think the goal tempo for my triple tonguing one, the is 130, which is so we'll get there in week 4, and we can go and check some of the goal tempos, but most of the time for like a Saxa etude, I'm picking a goal tempo that it's just like this piece would sound interesting and exciting to me at this piece. There are examples. Clark 4 and Clark 5 will probably push my limits when I get to I basically want to push the limit but be successful, or as successful as I can when picking a goal tempo. So for the clients that I used to work with and people I generally talk to, what I recommend for your very first program is to choose goal tempos that you're capable of. So maybe it's like right at the top of what you're capable of. So the first month is about just establishing those habits that you want, and then using the app over the course of time, month after month, to then begin to push. Like once you've established those habits, then you can push your limits a little bit, and you'll be able to continue using those habits. So like everything is constantly reinforcing this is the way you want to play the trumpet, and then you're also tracking that progress you want to make over the long term. All right, so we're back at 7. We got to do that Saxa etude one more time again. This is like one of my favorite etudes for some reason. That was a good run, I think. Too bad I didn't record it. So next is going to be double tonguing. 140. Oh, sorry, number 80 at 144. Oh my gosh, I never realized that the Arbin tempo is the quarter note. That's insane. 124 for the quarter note. No, I lied. Never mind. Sorry, I just had a freak out there. I was like, oh, Arbin is more insane than I thought he was. This one is 2 times. So let's listen back. Yeah, there's something I'm searching for here, and I just can't quite find it. I want da da ga da ga da ga da da ga da ga da ga da da ga. So like it's clear, but it's like not effortful. It's not da da ga da ga da da, but da da ga da ga da ga da da ga da ga da da. So it's easy. So when I try to play like Sergei Nakaryakov, I can. So for double tonguing, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to think a crisp, clear articulation, and then sort of long and effortless playing. Yeah, I think that was better. It's just I can never find it. I can never get into it right away. You know what I mean? Like I always feel like I need one repetition still to remember, oh yeah, that's not what it is. But that's all right. That's why we're here. So 88. So I'll try to carry that over. I'll try to carry that feeling of clear but sort of long notes and effortless playing over to this exercise. Go back and listen. Stop. It's not bad, actually. Let's do it again. most of the problems I experience in my practice sessions are just an issue of focus. What is my attention on? And so when I'm trying to play with clear articulation and long and blowing through things, sometimes my focus gets on my tongue and what does that feel like it's doing? But that last time through that I just played it, I was focused more on, the other side of the bell and just thinking, what's the sound like out there? And it just felt better. And it's so even at this stage in my playing career where I feel like I've learned many of the lessons, I just continue to learn them over and over and over again. And I'm trying to remind myself in each practice session what's valuable and trying to, remember the valuable and trying to get rid of the things that don't seem to really work. And that's really what practice is, right? It's just this constant culling of these are the things that work. I'm going to hold on to them. These are the things that I've tried that don't work. I'm going to try to put those aside and not really focus on them. So, all right, now we have the Biche etude that we're practicing. So let's type in all the information. All right, so we have finished this day. So we're just trucking right along there. So we actually did do this day. I have the recordings from it, but sometimes I forget. Like when I added these check marks in here, I thought it'd be so cool and satisfying to check them off, but a lot of the time I just forget now. All right, day 11. So, 81 to 93. So, let's see. Day 11, section 5, rep 1, 81. Day 11, section. I'll show you what I'm doing in just a second for anyone who hasn't seen me fill out my recordings, how I keep everything organized and keep track of everything. So 87 to 100. So you can see here, I'm going to write in day 11, and then I'll be practicing section 1. I'm going to record the first repetition, so repetition 1, and that repetition is programmed to be at 87, and then I'll record the fourth repetition, and that one's programmed to be at 100, which is our goal tempo. So we are finally at the goal tempo. I started learning this etude, I can't even tell you how long ago. Well, can I tell you how long ago? No, I can't tell you how long. Sometimes I put the date here. I started learning this I don't know, sometime in April. And just my orchestra season prevented me from really putting in focused effort on this etude. So it's nice to come back to it. Okay, so we want 87. We're going to hit record. Sometimes I forget that if you don't solo it, that's what it sounds like. Okay, and then we click here. No, we want 81. And then here. All right, Biche 18. So section 5 starts here and goes until here. Pretty sure I'm going to be happy with that. Probably should make this just a little bit bigger so we can see it. pretty good. I just want to smooth it out just a little bit. I like generally the musical things that are happening. I'm trying to bring out the phrasing. It's just a little bit, I need it to be a little smoother. Kind of like that. I started that repetition over because that was just sort of a focus error. Like, I know I can do better than that, and a lot of times when I make a mistake like that, a priority for me is immediately grooving over it with a thing that I want. So I kind of want it as much as possible. I want the last thing that I did to be what I wanted, right? And so that's another way that I think about repeating things is I want to sort of leave off on a good note. Even if it's not the tempo that I want it to go yet, even if it's not like totally perfect, based on my level of understanding and based on my ability, I want to leave it in a place where, you know, my neurocircuitry is working through a successful repetition and ingraining that while I sleep. So I made that same mistake there, but I know what I did, so I know how to fix it. And I won't make that mistake this time. Okay, so we record this repetition to see if we smoothed it out. Sorry, I'm kind of struggling. For some reason, I'm struggling with this, which notes should be a little bit more separated and which notes shouldn't. Well, it was smoother, at least the way I want it to be, so it's all right. I'm going to tell you why it's all right at the end of all of this. So hit record. All right, last section is right here to right there. Close to the best that's been. Okay, listen. I feel like it could be a little bit more pingy, but other than that, it's good. Yeah, so I'm trying to be I want the air to be flowing between everything. I want it to make sure that the air is connecting, I guess is the best way to say it. but I don't want it to sound da-ga, 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 da. I don't want it to be too long and legato. So this balance is proving to be tricky for me to balance getting it to be long but not sounding legato. Okay, let's see how that comes across when we record this repetition at 93 beats per minute. All right, this is better. Still not exactly what I want, but so we did these. So, all right, up by 3 and then up by 1. So, back to the beginning. This is our last time through this section for this program. So, we're going to get a sense of how much we learned. Well, that didn't work. I don't even want to listen to that. We're just gonna keep practicing. How do I practice soft playing? This might not be the answer you want, but I don't really. Barry, can I blow your trumpet? No. Soft playing, I practice it. I mean, I basically practice it by sometimes playing things soft in my fundamental routine or taking risks when playing some sort of etudes or trying to take some risks when playing etudes. To me, playing soft is like, I mean, I'll give you my whole philosophy if you want it. Hang on just a sec. All right, here we go. Playing soft is a function of understanding how to play with healthy playing habits and then apply them to soft dynamics. Playing loudly is a function of having healthy playing habits and learning how to apply them to loud dynamics, right? So it's not like I play middle of the road mezzo dynamics and then there's something different for loud and something different for soft. Rather, I try to have all of them sound pretty similar. Sort of like a mezzo. It's like a soft. I should probably practice that more often. That's kind of loud for me. So hopefully you could hear that they didn't sound that different from each other. And that's kind of my approach. Like I want to establish sort of the middle of the road mezzo, and then I want to see how do I make a soft sound while still playing like that? How do I make a loud sound while still playing like that? Does that make sense? Hang on just a sec. I'll answer your question after I record this. So here we are at 100. This is the goal tempo for this program. So, besides the last note, maybe because I'm tired, I'm going to listen to this, and then I'll answer your question about Schumann too. Hold up. Oh, I didn't show you the music. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, so Schumann 2, I've struggled with this excerpt a lot too. The first thing I struggle with is I usually actually play too soft. I try to go, just a sec. So my struggle is I play too soft. Right? So the first thing is learning how to play. This is like I was saying, it's a function of learning how to play with a soft sound that's full. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is understanding how to sort of guide your sound so that it's not just a bunch of long notes that are static and dead, but rather you're sort of helping the listener move from one note to another. So instead of ba, 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 be, it's beep, beep, boppy. So you're kind of helping the listener understand. This is called dictating time. And then the third thing I would say is just understanding, just having played soft long tones. You know what I mean? Like it's not any different than playing soft long tones. It's just a musical context. So knowing the string line, do dee do dee 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 do do dee dee do do dee 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 dee, right? Like knowing the string line underneath it. So and then I would honestly do it under tempo a little bit, just so everything's just a little less frantic. I wouldn't necessarily go half tempo, but I might go a little slower with some subdivisions so I can start feeling boom, beam, ba, beam, beam, stuff like that. All right, I want to listen to the very first repetition I ever did. Okay, that was the first repetition I ever did. I feel like that was on my trumpet too, my Bach trumpet. And this is 11 days later. Say that's some pretty good progress in 11 days. I feel like my embouchure's too spread from not practicing extremes and soft dynamics. Not anymore. When I was younger, absolutely. You know, when I would, especially when I play loud, I would. Okay, I have actually, now that you say that, a solution for that. One of the things that I did was I would play things like Bordonis and or Rochus, however you describe them, and I would play one phrase loud and one phrase soft, and I would try to figure out how to keep everything forward, but just get used to the difference. Because if I played loud and really spread, when I tried to play soft again, I wouldn't be able to do it. So. Right, but based on the questions that you've asked, I'm gonna guess that one of the things you struggle with is just keeping the air forward in general. Because if you can do that, it really helps with not being spread. It helps with support in the low and the soft registers. It helps with not really having to overplay in the loud registers. So if that's something you struggle with, you want to try to breathe like this, nice and open. Do that a few times and pay attention. It'll get cold somewhere in your mouth. For me, it's kind of like back here. And then do that again, but try to keep it on your lips. Try to keep the cold part on your lips. If you can breathe like that, it'll go a long, and then release in the same exact spot. It'll go a long way towards you being able to play with forward air. All right, section 2. From here to there, 87. Okay, I'm happy with that. Just got to try to recreate it at these next 3 tempo jumps. Of course, DCI. That's why I'm here. Anytime. Alright, and record our last repetition. If anybody has any other final questions, this would be a good time to type them in there. little bit of a false start there, but we'll take a mulligan because it's not the performance. Hey, Dynamo, I'll get you in just a second. All right, so that's pretty good. Let's listen to my very first repetition ever. Okay, so it's kind of interesting actually. Like you can hear that quality was still pretty decent, even at that time. And I just tried my best to keep learning, keep getting a little bit better. Yeah. So my biggest takeaways or learnings from my time at Tanglewood. I haven't really thought deeply about this, so this might not be a eloquent answer, but one of the things that was really amazing was we had a class. One of these classes is recorded. It's on YouTube. It's where we were coached. The trumpet section was coached by Tom and Ben. We had a second one of those that summer that was not recorded. And we played sections from the opening of the fourth movement of Shostakovich 5. We played a technical section from Daphnis and Chloe. And we played the ending of Sibelius 5. And hearing Tom Rolfes play some of that stuff was one of the first times I had ever heard someone really play in these like different sound worlds almost, you know? Like he sounded like a completely different player. And it just blew my mind. And then also hearing someone articulate like that and wanting to emulate that, you know, that was kind of a weird, huge takeaway that I'm still working through to this day. How do I get that kind of intensity and excitement at the beginning of each note? You know, it was an amazing orchestra to get to play with, and we played great rep, and some of those connections I made with those people are still great friendships to this day. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I would say by far the best part about Tanglewood, though, were those up close and personal sessions. I mean, we got to hear the BSO left and right. You know, they had like 2 or 3 concerts every single week. So hearing Tom up close and then hearing Tom in the orchestra gave some, I guess, what's the word? The word context. It gave some context for like what he's doing in the hall. How is he sounding that way? I could hear him up close play like that, which was insane. But yeah, those up close and personal sessions, just to hear them do what they do, have them coach us one-on-one, that was probably the coolest takeaway. So I'm going to try to play those 2 sections I just did at 120. This is the actual tempo of the written thing. So we're going to see how far away I am from it. So, still a little bit fast. I don't even know if I'm going to try to go there. We might see like what 110 feels like, and we might make that the tempo for recording. Absolute Dynamo, thanks for asking. It's been a while since I've thought about it, but I mean, it was such an influential period of my development, you know? So, so I just want to kind of go over here, and I might say this more later too, depending on, you know, stuff. The reason I'm not really super concerned with even being able to play it yet or right now is because I'm going to go through this whole process again. And what I'll probably do is, so like section 1 was right here to right here. Section 2 was right here to right here. On the next time through, so I like to start with like shorter sections so I can build rest into the process of learning it, because I'm not trying to play a whole entire page of music. And also it's not too much for me to think about at one time. But next time I go through the process, I will probably do this section to here, and then there to there, and then there to the end. So now I'm going to start trying to link these sections together to make it a little bit more, feel a little bit more like performance. And I'll go through the process again. More than likely, it won't take me another 2 weeks. It might just take me 1 more week. So I will have done a total of 18 days of practice or so to get this pretty close to what I would consider to be performance ready. So that's the big reason I'm not worried about it, because I just know I'm just not at the end of the process of learning. So this is usually just like tomorrow will be the last day of the program. You know, I'll play through the whole etude at like 104 or something and just see where we're at. But the process isn't over, basically. And I've just learned that through multiple times of going through this gold method process on these Biche etudes specifically, that I'll need another cycle through this to really feel like I'm killing it. So I look forward to sharing. I should be able to do all that on the live stream. That's a great question. So like, if for whatever reason, if I were to frame it differently, if for whatever reason I was like warming up and things weren't feeling great, you know, there's a couple of stories that I've heard from Barbara Butler about, you know, Bud, and even from herself, where Bud was warming up for a show or a recording or something, and it wasn't going well, and he just kind of stopped playing. And then when he did the recording, he sounded awesome. This is a Charlie Geyer story, actually, and Charlie said that he went and asked Bud, it was the Brandenburg, if I'm not wrong, he went and asked Bud, what were you thinking about? And Bud, okay, so the whole story is Bud was trying to warm up for the Brandenburg, and it just wasn't going well. And then Charlie was thinking, am I going to have to actually step in and play this if he's not able to do it? And so he saw Bud warming up, and then at a certain point, Bud just stopped playing. He just put his piccolo down, and he just sat there. And then when he went out for the concert, he sounded great. And Charlie afterwards was like, what happened? And what did you think about? What did you do? And Bud just said, I was just thinking about all the times that I've sounded good on my instrument. And Barbara Butler has a story similar to that. She was warming up for pictures at an exhibition, and it wasn't going well. And then she's like, I'm not ready. I'm not fully warmed up, but I got to go to this show anyway. And she went, and she played well. And her reasoning for that was because she had to. She sort of just did it, you know? And so my take on how I would mentally approach it is I would really double down on focusing on what I can control, which is what I'm inputting into the instrument. And just saying, like, it's okay, basically, if I have some stuff that goes poorly or doesn't go the way I want to in a performance. It's okay. Like, I don't want that to happen, obviously. I don't wish it to happen. But I can't, you know, we're human beings, and there's going to be inconsistencies in the way that we do things. And so that's why as you've watched me practice, that's why I put such a high premium on imprinting the same thing over and over and over and over again. So even if something does go wrong in a performance, I can fall back upon the recording in my head to get myself back on track. So maybe I don't think I would do extra high playing. You know, I don't think I'd be like, well, I just need to spend more time in the upper register to groove it out. You know what I mean? I might play a little bit more than usual just to see if like playing a couple of scales up to high note and like tonguing can help it feel better. More than likely, I would stop playing and just, you know, re-warm up. You know what I mean? So hopefully all of this is giving like a full context that there's no real right situation. You're just trying to fall back on your training and hoping that you can input what you know makes you successful and hope that the performance will work, you know? I mean, it's pretty rare that I have something on my stand that's like as intense as Beach 18, you know? We did a John Williams concert about a month ago, or maybe a little less than a month ago. And even those shows can be a little difficult in terms of the endurance. I had an assistant for this, so it's pretty rare for me to have an assistant, but I had one. But not everything went amazing. Like, I biffed the first note of Star Wars, but nobody can hear, you know, because the whole orchestra is like exploding at that point. And so, you know, basically I would just try not to worry about it. I wouldn't assume that because I'm feeling a problem earlier in the day, that guarantees that there will be a problem later. And I would just try to stay focused on what I can control, the things that I know have caused my playing to go well in the past, and hope that that will work. Hopefully that answers your question. So I should probably bounce. I gotta make some dinner soon for my kids. I appreciate everybody stopping by, and I'll be here sometime tomorrow, and then also for pretty much the rest of June. So we'll see you later.